Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Junior School Virtual Open Morning for Wells Cathedral School. My name is John Fosbrook, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Admissions here, and we're really delighted that you could join us today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you on to my colleagues soon, but just to say this session is all to help you. So if you have any particular questions that you'd like to ask at any time, then please email admissions@wells-cathedral-school.com, and we'll be really pleased to pass these questions into the panel. But without further ado, let me introduce you to Julie Barrow, the head of our junior school, and she can then introduce the other colleagues who are here. So over to you, Mrs. Barrow.
Thank you, John. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Wells Cathedral Junior School, 2 to 11 years. My name is Julie Barrow and I have the privilege of being head. I'm sure you've already seen a little bit of the videos we've done for our remote open morning. I'd like to introduce you to some of the colleagues that I have with me, and they're going to be here online for the next hour so that you can ask lots of questions. We like lots of questions, so please don't be shy. I'd like first of all to introduce you to Rebecca Allen, who is head of EYFS and Key Stage 1 development. So Rebecca, would you like to just say a little bit about yourself?
Hi everybody, nice to meet you, albeit virtually. As Julie said, I look after our early years and Key Stage 1, so that's our 2 to 7 year olds, and I've had the privilege over the last few years of being able to teach in every year group under that umbrella, which has been incredible. I've also had lots of involvement with our toddler groups, working very closely with the community too, so it's really nice. I've got really nice understanding of development, child development from 0 to 7. We really care about our creative curriculum here at Wells, and if you've watched the videos, I'm sure you got a bit of an insight into that. So nice to meet you. Happy to answer any of your questions with regards to pre-prep. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And next, I'd like to introduce you to Jill Edmonds, who is head of music and for the junior school, but also head of wellbeing, which is really important to us. So Jill, would you like to come off mute, please?
I'm like, hello.
There we go. Always one for drama, our Jill.
I'm Jill Edmonds, and it's just lovely to be here and to be able to talk to you about our wonderful school. I'm in charge of music from the 2-year-olds up to 11, which is an absolute privilege. So I'm part of the children's lives all the way through, which is a joy. We're a very creative school, obviously, and being creative is a huge important part of our curriculum. So we do lots of composing, open-ended tasks, do lots of singing, do lots of performing, and all of that goes hand in hand with the well-being. So well-being, we believe firmly, from building the child inside out, giving them lots of tools, life skills, so that when they leave school, they're good, solid people, which is what we're looking for, good, happy people. So I will be delighted to answer any question on music or well-being or anything, but it's just lovely to be here with you this morning. Thank you.
And then her partner in crime, I'd like to introduce you to Neil Johnson, our head of drama.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on. It's a real pleasure to be here. As you've heard already from Rebecca and Jill, creativity and building confidence in our young people is absolutely key in the school. My part as head of performing arts is, again, like Jill, I work with the nursery year 2 right through to year 6, so the whole junior school and the young early years, Key Stage 1. The key thing for me is encouraging, as I mentioned, confidence and building that confidence in our young people, giving them ability to express themselves, and as our school motto is, to be what they are through creativity and so on. So I love my job. I love working with the team in the junior school, and I really hope that you have some questions, because I'd be very happy to answer anything you have. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. And sport as well is at the key of everything we do too. I'm passionate about sports myself as well. So I'd like to introduce you now to Steve Bratt, who is our head of junior sport, and he is beautifully positioned at our grammar school. Steve, over to you. Steve, you need to come off mute.
There we go.
There we are, lovely.
Can you see the beautiful backdrop of Cedars behind me? This is our first 11 cricket pitch, but it's also used for all the sport that we do for the junior school. And I feel really privileged to work in such a beautiful environment. It really is a dream job for me because I get to teach all the children, from me personally, from reception all the way up to year 6. We have some wonderful facilities. We've got our swimming pool, as you can see. We've got Cedars behind me, and also fantastically well equipped sports hall and dance studio. But they're all obviously facilities which are wonderful. But one of the things that I really like about working here is just the ethos of the school and the involvement of all children in sport, be that competitive or taking part and looking after yourself, and particularly teaching kids how to move, so fundamental movement skills, those sorts of things that if you'd like to ask me some questions about that later, I'd be happy to answer. I don't want to get started on that right now because it's a real passion for me, sports for all. But what I will say is my main aim, and those in the department around me, is that your children, when they are adults and are able to choose themselves what they want to do in terms of physical activity, that they're confident and able to move well and enjoy physical activity for the rest of their lives. So that's the mission.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand over to someone else now. But
Thank you.
please do ask any questions.
So everyone, this is just a small fraction of the staff we have, but they all are absolutely amazing. They're completely dedicated to the children that we have, and they look after our parents too, actually, and they all look after me, which is a hard job. So these are some key staff to ask questions, but we can answer questions about all sorts of things you have today. So we're waiting to hear what questions you might have, but also we have some of the frequently asked questions that parents have. In a short while as well, some of our current parents and children are going to join us too, because I think it's really important that you have a chance to talk to them. They're the ones on the ground, they're the ones who are there every day, who see it and feel it. So it's really good that you have an opportunity to meet some of those people as well. The sad thing is, obviously, at the moment, is we only have some of our children in school. We do have our nursery, reception, year 1 and year 6. A number of those have come back as part of the phased return. So it's lovely to see their happy faces, and all the people you can see on the team today have been involved in that. So we have had a real pleasure of being able to be back with the children. But obviously having to do this remotely is very different than what we would normally do. So this is the best at the moment that we can offer. And we would very much like to look forward to seeing you in person properly, because that's the sort of people we are. Sadly, as well, at this sort of time, we're people who like to love and nourish people and give people a hug, which is obviously not what we can do at 2 meters at the moment either. So we're doing that virtually as well. So any questions from anybody yet? If not, we'll run through some of the frequently asked questions. Okay, you're being very shy or polite, I'm not sure which, or both. So I'll pick up one that is often asked. Do you have to be musical? Do you have to be musical to go to Wells Cathedral School? Absolutely not, is the answer to that. And we have all sorts of children. As Steve just said, our motto is Este Quod Est, be what you are, and you can be anything you like. That's the fantastic thing about being at our school. So you might be really sporty, or you might be academic, or you might be musical. You might be all of those things, and that's why it's so special, because you can be. So you can be the hockey goal captain. You are playing goal, and you might be a specialist pianist at the same time. But you can be all sorts of things. So I'm going to pass over that one now as well to Mrs. Edmonds, because she'll be able to tell you more about the benefits of being in a specialist music school for all children.
Hello, yes, as Julie said, Wells embraces everybody. Everybody is unique, and that is really, really special to us. What I love about Wells is that music just comes out of the walls. The soul is in the walls. And so all the children sing because they love to sing, because that's part of what we do. And whatever stage they're at, so we have informal concerts and formal concerts, and we embrace everybody performing. So that could be from somebody learning from 2 weeks, or been learning for years, who, you know, a diploma standard or nothing, just started. Because music is it's the passion of music, it's the emotion that it involves in people. So you know, and it's also really important that we look at different genres of music and find the genre of music that appeals to different children. That's also really important. So in the past, we've had rock schools. We have lots of different groups of all different standards, really, to encourage everybody just to play, because there's nothing, or just enjoy an experience. So children will come and visit concerts. We have the senior school pupils who come down on a Friday morning and they play to us. So it's like having a top concert. We're just incredibly lucky. So as I say, all the children, whatever stage they're at, they appreciate music and take a love of music at whatever stage that is. But if you've got any questions to ask me about that, please ask me. Thank you.
And another question that we're often asked is about clubs and activities, and we have a whole host of clubs and activities, and I'll just read some of them, and then I'll pass over to Steve to tell you a little bit as well about some of our outdoor opportunities with places like Skern Lodge. So some of the different clubs and activities that we have, and we rotate those family as well. So some of the sports ones, we have something called Rookie Lifeguard, which Steve will probably tell you a little bit about as well. Gymnastics, which is a major thing as well. I know lots of our children really enjoy gymnastics. We have a big display, usually now, which sadly we can't. Hockey, rugby, netball, football, cricket, rounders, dance, engineering, Lego, newspaper club, choir, art, computing, music, tech, drama, a well-being club, all sorts of clubs, which is fantastic. So there's something there for everybody, and they can dip in and out as well and see what they like. Let me pass over to Mr. Bratt to talk a little bit about Skern Lodge, and then I know Mr. Jobs waiting as well to say a bit more too. Mr. Bratt. Steve, would you like to say a little bit about Rookie Lifeguard and
Yes,
Skern Lodge?
Yes, yeah, we have we offer a course called Rookie Lifeguard, which is run by the Royal Life Saving Society scheme, and we teach this to over 40 children. It is voluntary, but we find that it's very, very popular at the school, and it encompasses all sorts of things regarding water safety. One of them being personal survival in the water, and then developing from that, from bronze level up to rescuing people who are in difficulties in the water, with the overall rule of the number one rule being look after yourself and be safe in the water before helping anybody else. we are so lucky to have a pool that's readily available to us all the time. So we're able to offer that club to, as I say, over 40 willing participants who sign up for it. This is currently on a Friday night after school, and we find a lot of children wanting to stay and do it. I hope that's enough, but please
Would
ask
you like to
more.
Would you like to talk about Skern Lodge as well?
Skern Lodge?
Yeah.
Yes, we have an annual trip, educational visit to Skern Lodge. This is for year 5 and 6 children. And Skern Lodge is an outdoor activity centre that's been around for about 35 to 40 years, I believe. So it's well established in North Devon. The children go for, on average, 3 to 3.5 days, and they do all sorts of things like climbing, canoeing, rafting, you name it, they do it. Night walks, bit of navigation, lots of problem solving to develop resilience and teamwork. It really is absolutely fantastic. There's a wonderful high ropes course there, which the staff seem to always have to do as well. So I've often found myself shinning up a telegraph pole with the children and doing what they're doing. It is absolutely fantastic. And again, this is open to year 5 and 6 pupils, and we get virtually all of them wanting to attend that. That happens on an annual basis. And it's just a great way for the children to experience the outdoors and develop some team skills on top of what we do at school, because we do a lot of that at school anyway, and just enjoy the outdoors and get away from that Xbox really over half term. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
That's okay, Mr. Barrow?
That's something that we do in universities does with year 5 and 6. And then usually now we're just a virtual one. We have a camping trip for year 4, and Mr. Johnson takes part in that. Mrs. Barrow goes to visit, but Mrs. Barrow doesn't do overnight in tents. She likes to have a hairdryer. So over to Mr. Johnson, would you like to talk a little bit about the year 4 camping trip and a bit about performing arts, and then we'll go to Rebecca to do some of the frequently asked questions of pre-prep as well. Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Hello again. Thank you. Yes, the Year 4 camp is they get very excited about that. It's a lovely opportunity for the whole year group to spend a night camping. We've got a very friendly local farmer who's very happy to lend out his space, and all of the Year 4s head up usually on a Friday sort of late morning. They're encouraged to build their own tents, to build up the whole site, and cook their meal, and we often have a sort of campfire and marshmallows and so on in the evening, and lots of activities around and about the space that they're in. They're usually very excited. Not entirely sure how much sleep they get in the end, but it tends to be fairly, after the excitement boils, sort of calms down, they get some sleep, and then it's Saturday the following day, so most of them don't have to obviously do school, so they can always catch up with their sleep at home. But it's usually incredibly successful, and the children love it, and it's a great chance to sort of bond to the Year 4s at the end of their sort of the end of their year, which is great fun. With performing arts, I won't talk for too long because I know I can talk about this until the cows come home. But as I say, we encourage performance opportunities as many as possible throughout the junior school and the early years. The early years in Key Stage 1, they do 2 musical performances, well, at least 2 musical performances every year for parents in our smaller theatre space in Ritchie Hall. and we get them all involved in singing and dancing and performing, costumes, lights, and give them a real kind of performance experience, which always goes down well. The Christmas one in December is usually obviously Christmas based, and then one in the spring, which we were lucky enough to just do before we had to obviously go into this new regime, which was great fun for parents to be able to come and watch. That was the last performance I think we've done at school at the moment. So we're looking forward to getting that back up and running again, which would be great. With the years 3, 4, 5 and 6, each year group gets involved in their own year group performances, which are seen by parents. Again, it's a performance on stage. We tend not to go with costumes and lights. That's more about showing the work that they've been doing in drama, music and dance, singing and dancing and performing pieces based on the scheme of work they're doing at that particular time. Shakespeare's a big influence on some of that. So each year group does that. Then we have a big Christmas celebration in the cathedral. And again, fingers crossed, we'll be on for that this year, which is that's what it says on the tin. It's a celebration of Christmas with music, with songs, with sketches, with poems, with readings, all around the Christmas theme, and gets everyone really in the mood. Seems a bit early in the year to be talking about Christmas, but it will be here before we know it. And then of course we have our big summer show. Again, sadly we weren't able to do that this year, but we've been trying to encourage all of our children in the school to get involved in the songs, and we're going to try and recreate some of the sense of the show. It was going to be Fiddler on the Roof. We've done Lion King in the past, we've done Mary Poppins, we've done Wizard of Oz, and this was Fiddler on the Roof. So we're encouraging all of our children to get involved remotely, sending in videos of them singing and getting involved in that way as much as we can. So lots of performance opportunities. We, Jill mentioned, I'm sure she will give a chance to talk about that. We instrumental concerts are sort of, I'm involved in my performing arts role, but that's more Jill, Mrs. Edmonds, and our wonderful Mr. White, Mark White, who's with us, and all of the children get the opportunity to perform in our concert hall with our music concerts, but I'll save that one until later. I think there might be some questions coming in, so I'll pass back to Julie so we can cover that. But thank you very much. And again, any other questions, please ask.
Hello, just as is,
it's good to hear that you don't feel so shy anymore. You've got used to us. We'll listen to some of your questions now and answer those.
Yeah, so hello everybody, this is John Fosbrook here, and we've had a few questions in. We've had one question which is about preparation for transferring into the senior school, but I think we'll leave that one a bit later, because I know that at 11:15 we have Lulu and Tilly Matthews who'll be joining us, and Tilly just has moved into the senior school, so maybe we'll leave that question for when they arrive at around 11:15. But the other two questions are, first is, could you talk through a typical day in the school, including, could you outline what you offer in terms of clubs before and after school, breakfast clubs and after school provision? And the second question is, how much homework do you set in each year, how much prep? So I'd be grateful if you could address both of those questions. Over to you, Ms. Barrow.
I think I'm going to pass it to Rebecca first, so she can talk through a pre-prep day and the wraparound care, and then I'll do the same thing for the juniors afterwards, so you can see what we do at different ages.
Okay, so I'm doing wraparound care and clubs and activities, yeah? Okay, so hi everybody. So we're very fortunate that we're able to offer a wraparound essentially from 8 till 6 every day for our pre-prep children. The nursery opens at 8 and closes at 6, and those are our breakfast and twilight sessions. The core nursery day is 9 till 4:30, and you can mix and match your sessions according to what works for you, and you can use your funding in those sessions if you're looking at nursery. From reception up, we offer breakfast club, and this starts just before 8 o'clock in the dining room with the junior school children, and then we offer a little snack club after school for the children from about 3:30 when the school day finishes, where they do low-key activities and they chill out and spend time with their friends, and someone might hear them read if they've still got a bit of beans left, and they'll have a little snack from a snack pack. Following that, they can go up to supper if you need them to stay until 6 as well. And they go to the supper. They go to supper in our dining room, which is where they have their lunch and breakfast. So that's all consistent. As part of the after-school provision, we also offer clubs every day for reception to year 2. Now, these clubs vary. We also do lunchtime clubs as well, not every day, but because we can't fit everything in after school because there's so much choice for the children. So sometimes there's things at lunchtime as well, like ballet club and football club tend to be at lunchtime. These vary every term, and we try to make it fair for the children so that they can try different things each term as well, do a couple a week and change it up a bit. So like I said, there's ballet, there's football, there's Lego, there's cooking, there's craft clubs, sewing clubs, math science club, cheerleading, outdoor activities, Star Wars club, or we actually called it Jedi training, Harry Potter's Hogwarts club, and I think it was a Hogwarts school for witchcraft and wizardry, we called the club. So we keep it really creative, and we try to tie all of that in with our school day and what they're doing during the day as well. So at the end of the day, if they are here from 8 till 6, we want to make sure that it's as seamless as possible and that they're busy, but that it's not bitty, if that makes sense. So we tie it all together with creative curriculum as well. Do you want me to talk about trips, Mrs. Barrow, or are you happy with that for now?
I think we'll leave it there for now because we've got some other questions as well. So I'll talk. Thank you.
That's
So
okay.
I'll talk a little bit about the structure of the junior school day with the wraparound care and also homework. So our children, is the same as the little ones, can come in and they can do breakfast club, which starts at 7:45 over in the dining room. Excuse me, and then they come back into school, and the other children come into school, and the bell goes at 8:35. The children then all go to their form teacher, to their classroom, and they have a little bit of form time. We do assemblies 3 mornings a week as well, and they also have some special form time on the other 2 days. And then years 3 and 4 spend most of their time with their form teacher, but in addition to that, they are very fortunate to have some of these special people here today as subject specialists. So in music, music tech, drama, sport, art, languages, so they have a mixture. And then at lunchtime and after school, I've mentioned the clubs and activities that we have on offer. So the children can either choose to go home at 4 o'clock, having had a session again with a form teacher at the end of the day. We have something called reflection time, which is really important for their well-being, unless it's a sports fixture day. And then they can either go home at 4 o'clock, or they can stay on to do clubs and activities, or they can stay on and do supervised prep. And then clubs and activities and prep run until 5:15. And then again, you can take them home, or you can take, if you children who haven't been collected at the end at 4 o'clock are automatically taken in to do the supervised prep anyway. So if you're running late, it really doesn't matter. We always make sure we look after the children. They're automatically mopped up and taken in. And then they then stay until 5:15, and then we also offer a supper club which runs until 6 o'clock. And again, you can come to collect your children at any time during that process. And if you're running late and you haven't picked up from prep, then the same thing, the children are automatically then taken over to supper club. So that runs until 6 o'clock. In terms of homework, yes, we do some homework. But it's really important we don't do homework for homework's sake. I'm a great believer that children need to have time to chill out.
Hello, everybody. This is
had a
John
busy day
Fosbrook
whilst
here
they've been
again.
with us.
And yeah, I'm really delighted to welcome our people, Lucille, to the room. Lucille, welcome to you. You'll need to switch your camera on, which should be at the bottom of the screen. There we go. We've got it in there. So Lucille is here. So over back to you, Mrs. Barrow, to talk to Lucille.
Hi, Lucille.
Hello.
Really lovely. Hello, I can't see you at the moment, but I'm sure everybody else can, which is wonderful. Lucille joined us in September as a specialist musician. So Lucille's going to spend a little bit of time. I'm going to ask her to answer some questions and tell you a little bit about herself. But hopefully I'll finish to the sort of the homework question. Yes, we do some homework, but we only do it when it's really important. The children automatically have things like reading, spellings, times tables, that sort of thing. But it's something that we review every year, and we also include parents in our decisions because that's really important too. So Lucille, would you like to tell everyone a little bit about your experience? And I purposely asked you, A, because you're fantastic and you are such a lovely girl, but also because you're new. And I think that's a really good way of starting to talk to other people who might be looking at the best school in the world themselves. They can hear from you what it's like. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about our school and your experience?
Yes. Well, I really like this school. It's very nice and everybody is very nice. There's very nice teachers and I've learned a lot. And music, I've learned a lot too. Everybody is very, very delightful. And I enjoy the place that we're in because there's a lot of grass. It's very green. But before in my school, there wasn't that much trees and everything. So it's a very nice environment as well. And I enjoy this environment. Like the canteen. And I really like the canteen too.
I thought you might mention that. Lucille, I'm with Lucille sometimes at supper club on a Friday evening, and that was one of the first things that Lucille said when she'd come across from Paris, which surprised me, given that she'd come from Paris. But she was telling me, weren't you, about how fantastic the food is. Would you want to tell everyone about some of your favourite meals at school?
Well, I really like the pasta because I don't eat pasta really at school, and it's really surprising the first time I ate it, and it's really good. And there's a wide variety of food. There's a lot of different types, and there's even a salad bar, and I've never had a salad bar in school before. It's very interesting. There's a really wide variety of food.
And I know you made Trevor, our catering manager, day when you went to tell him about how fantastic the food was. So you often have a chat with Trevor now, don't you?
I can't really hear you.
Sorry, I think my internet connection today is not behaving very well. So all the more reason for all you lovely people to come and see us in person as soon as we possibly can. So would you like to tell everyone about your music, what you do, and which group you're in?
I play the piano, and my teacher is Mr. Byrne. Sorry. 3 lessons. Sorry.
And would you like to tell everyone which year group you're in?
I'm in year 6, and I learn with Mr. Ward.
And just so everybody out there knows as well, when children get to years 5 and 6, there's a lot more specialist teaching. So they still have a form teacher, but they do spend, particularly in year 6, more time moving around, and this really helps prepare the children for the transition then into the senior school, which and also we'll be doing a lot of other things this term, which unfortunately we're not able to do. So some of the teachers from the senior school would come down. So our head of MSL teachers are year 6 French, but other college and seniors will come down throughout the year to do sessions. So for instance, in chemistry, physics, biology, and just to come and meet our children, just to make that transition as smooth as possible. But actually it's very easy anyway, because we all share the same facilities, and it is literally just like stepping through a hole in the wall, which it is. Does anybody have a question for Lucille? Okay, in that case, go over to some more frequently asked questions. Miss Allen, would you like to go through some of yours? Thank you, Lucille. Stay there, because I'm sure there'll be some more questions.
Thank you, Lucille. It's so nice to see Okay, I've been jotting down the things that parents tend to ask me when I show them around for real. And, you know, one of the things that most parents ask me is, how can you reassure me that my child will be happy at Wells? And, you know, happiness really does come first for us. It really is the most important thing. And PSHE, personal, social and health education, or personal, social and emotional development in early years, comes at the core of everything we do. And our PSHE curriculum is actually embedded through everything in pre-prep. We do, like Mrs. Barrow mentioned, they do regular assemblies in junior school. As part of the school day in pre-prep, we do an assembly every day. And of course, for the age of the children, it's not very long because, you know, they can only concentrate for so long, sat on their bottoms listening. But what we tend to do is we focus on stories, and each story has got a PSHE focus, and this is weaved through the whole of pre-prep and into our curriculum. So, for example, last term, when our pre-prep theme, we all follow the same theme, was What a Wonderful World. Our PSHE topic was therefore thinking about how we can be responsible citizens, and what we can do to help our world, and how this makes us feel content and fulfilled as an individual. And so, you know, we went off talking about plastic and how we can reduce, reuse, recycle. And so what I'm saying is the PSHE is always weaved through all of their learning and into our creative curriculum. So, and so in addition to the PSHE as well, we have really close relationships with our children here at Wells because we have small classes. And at the end of the day, the most important thing to us is that we know your children really, really well. So if we know your children well, we know what makes them tick and we know what they need, and therefore they are happy and fulfilled and content. I just wanted to say something about the creative curriculum as well, because people often ask, you talk about the music and the drama and the sport and all these extra bits and bobs that they do. Well, when do they ever get a chance to think? Well, it's about the way that we do it. So like I said earlier, they're busy, but it's not bitchy. So we weave it all together into a curriculum that follows a theme. So in pre-prep, for example, we start with a stunning start, which might be like a dress-up day or a little trip all together. And then we finish with a fantastic finish, which could be a similar sort of thing across the term. And then all of the different topics and all of the different subjects and things that we're doing are all weaved together into that curriculum. All right, I've just noticed that we've got someone else join us, so I'm wondering whether I'm hogging the limelight and whether I should pass it over. What do you think, Mrs. Barrow?
Let's see who it is. It's going to be a surprise, isn't it? Surprise! Who's now joining us?
I'm very pleased. We have Lulu and Tilly Matthews here, and Lulu, I think in year 5, is that right? And Tilly, who came through the school and then just left last year. And we had an earlier question about preparing for moving out of the junior school into the senior school. So I'm sure that Tilly will be able to help with that. So thank you very much for joining us both. And back to Mrs. Barrow to talk to them and ask any questions.
Hi girls, lovely to see you. Thank you for helping us today. So I think we'll start with Tilly, if that's all right. And Tilly, as you've just heard, came through the junior school and has now moved successfully and seamlessly into the senior school. We also talked to Tilly earlier, which you wouldn't have heard, but we talked about gymnastics as well in the junior school. And I know that you are the most amazing gymnast, and you were a crucial player in the open day exhibition which we did. Would you like to talk a little bit about gymnastics and then also your experience of going from year 6 into year 7? Would that be all right?
Yeah.
Would you mind? Thank you, sweetheart.
When you move from year 6 to year 7, you have a couple of move up mornings to get to know the teachers and how you get from lesson to lesson and all around the school. And it's not scary moving up because it feels different, but not in a bad way, in a good way. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your gymnastics as well.
Every year Miss Spain runs a gymnastics display that you perform on open day,
and there are different groups for your age and ability, and it's a big performance, and everyone comes and watches, and it's really exciting because you work on it for a long time, and then everyone gets to see it, and it's really exciting.
Thank you. So I think your words, different but not scary, really sum it up well, because we are one school, 2 to 18, which is fantastic. So you two still get to see each other as well, even though you're in junior school and senior school now. Well, I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, but you'll decide that one. But it is one school, isn't it? And although some of your teachers change, the site obviously doesn't, but also that level of care and the school motto Esto Quod Est stays with you wherever you go. And hopefully we did a good job of passing you on to the next stage, and hopefully you felt comfortable about doing that and ready to fly, which you have.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad we got that right then. I think very often it's parents who are more fearful actually than the children. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got some slow internet. I'm sorry, everybody. That's out of my control. Lulu, how lovely to see you. Lulu, it's so lovely to see you. All these my face. Would you like to tell everyone about what you do at school, in the junior school, and your teachers, and maybe your friends?
It's really nice at junior school because you're kind of all together in a way, and it's not really big. It's kind of right size, so you know your way around, and you know where everything is really, and you have really nice teachers, and it's really fun with junior school. There's all the different clubs you can join and all the different friends you can make. And that and the form time and reflection time. And then 5 we play little games in reflection time, and in form time it's really fun because we get to read Mr. Davis, and it's really nice.
Would you like to tell everyone what sport you do during the year?
Everyone's really nice and welcome. We do hockey in the winter, Sawfield, and we do hockey with Miss Sawfield, Miss Bain, and Miss Rogers. And then we do rounders in the summer with Miss Rogers, Miss Sawfield, and Miss Bain again. And athletics, and then we do swimming and PE.
What sorts of things do you do in PE?
We do FMS, we go in the sports suit and we do different exercises. And we also do gymnastics and with Miss Bain, and we do the swimming, which in year 5 and 6 you can go to the IAPS, swimming races, and that's what we do in PE. Oh, and in PE we do sometimes also do hockey in PE as well as games.
And girls, you've both been involved in the busy fixture programme we have as well, haven't you? Competing with children from other schools as well. And as you can see, they're both smiling about that. We've got 2 sporty girls here.
Yeah.
Well, 2 multi-talented girls here. Mm. I wonder whether we move to Mr. Bratt just for a short minute to talk about the fixtures that we do have, which obviously at the moment are all lit up in the air, but I don't know if we've lost Mr. Bratt. I can't see Mr. Bratt anymore. And then girls, there might be some questions for you if that's all right. Yeah.
Hi.
You. Hello, Mr. Bratt. Would you like
Hello.
to talk about would you like to talk about the fixtures that we have?
Yes, I'd love to. Yes, we have an extensive fixture programme. That means matches, competitive matches against other schools. So probably our furthest fixture that we have is probably Colston's, which is towards Bristol. So we play some Bristol schools. We play local schools as well, or Hallows, those sorts of schools that are quite close to the school. So we're quite extensive in the schools that we play, but there is one common thing, is that the schools that we do play have the same type of ethos with fixtures that we do, in that it's not just about winning, it's also about learning. And I think someone said earlier, I think it was Miss Allen, fun is very important. Well, that really sums it up for the sport and playing matches against other schools, is that the children, and I think Lulu and Tilly probably back this up, is that they're fun, and we want people to carry on enjoying sport all their lives. So that is really important to us. So the schools that we do play, we have about 6 or 7 matches against other schools within a term. So that's sort of 12 weeks. So that allows us some time that we need for coaching.
The video on, George.
And a golden retriever has just popped its head up there for some reason. School mascot. Yeah, but all the schools that we play, we're very keen that the main aim is fun, and the winning and the losing, that's important, but actually fun and wanting to participate is the most important aim. Certainly as staff, and I know that the children, that's what that really obviously floats their boat, and we want that to continue into adulthood. They want to keep exercising, they want to keep doing sport. And I'm biased, but I think we do a really good job here of conveying that message right from the start.
Really.
So I hope there's anything else.
Thank you.
Hello. Oh, that's it. I've got you back. Thank you. Sorry, the internet just went there.
We're having real problems, as you can all tell, with our internet today. I'm so sorry about that. Hopefully you can still get an idea though of us and what we're all doing at Wales. Now I think we may have the Camden family with us. I think that's where the retriever came from. Have we got the Camden family?
Yes, I'm very pleased. Thank you so much to George and Francesca for joining us. So they're here now. So back to you, Mrs. Barrow, to introduce them and talk to them.
So we've also invited another family who know both parts of the sport extremely well, and I thought this would be a good opportunity for you to speak to a parent as well as some children. So in the picture at the moment we've got Francesca and we've got George. So Francesca's in the junior school and George is in the senior school. So like Tilly and Lulu, we've got somebody in both parts of the school. So they'll be able to tell you a little bit about junior school, a little bit about senior school, and then hopefully Mum will also say a little bit too. So shall we start with Francesca? Would you like to let everyone know a little bit about you and what you enjoy doing in the junior school? Would that be all right?
So I quite enjoy art. Is one of my favourite subjects because you get to express how you're feeling, not in words, but just from your mind. So express how you actually feel in your mind, but on work. So I really find that really fun.
Francesca, what else do you like doing?
I also love dance because dance, you're just with the music. The music guides you really, and you don't have to say anything really, you just feel it.
Oh, thank you. And you've just moved from pre-prep, haven't you, into, well, not just, you've done a whole year now. So you know about the transition from pre-prep to junior school. How did you find that? Do you find that okay?
I found it really exciting and also quite scary because I was like, I'm actually going into the junior school because I was like, I'm not in pre-prep anymore. I'm not one of the little ones.
And you've done a really good job, haven't you? Really good job. And George, thank you again, because you've done, both of you have done this for me before, and it's really kind of you. George, would you like to talk a little bit about moving from year 6 into the senior school, and maybe a little bit about your experience in the junior school, what you enjoyed doing and some of the highlights there, but then also moving through? Would you mind doing that for me?
Yeah, well, I'll start off with the highlights of the junior school. The at Bristol trip. There were really good school trips, and it was quite interesting because there were the Sevington trip and stuff. It was really interesting to see, especially on the Sevington, what it was like for people back in the past. What it was like for them going to school.
Dressing up as a Victorian.
Yeah. And yeah, the transition wasn't actually that hard. The hardest bit was learning what all the buildings were and where they were, because that was quite hard to understand where everything was, because you've gone from one area and you've completely moved to a different side of the school. But it is also it's easier than I think some other schools, because you're in the same school, you're not somewhere completely different. So it's quite easy. And yeah, sports was really good. I really enjoyed the sports matches and playing for a team and being one of the players of a team. And what else is there?
Are you still
the drama performances, they were really good. And the Lion King, no, not the Lion King. What did we do? Oh yeah. I've forgotten.
Poppins.
No, it was.
Somewhere over there.
So yeah, that one.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah, Wizard of Oz. That was really fun being able to perform on stage. So yeah.
So both of you are all rounders as well, aren't you? So really,
yeah.
You are the embodiment of the ESTO quad S that we have. That you can do everything. You can do the academic side of things. You're both very academic, but also you can do sport and all the creativity you've talked about. So you can dip your fingers into anything you like. Give it a go. And you both have. Tell. I wonder if Hannah, would you be willing to just say hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi Hannah, thank you. I'm sure there are lots of parents that want to know what it's like from a parent's point of view as well.
Great, yes, it's very difficult to hear you. You're cutting up a bit, but I'll speak about that. So when I arrived with my children at the school, I've got 4 children at the school. They've gone all the way through, really, from nursery all the way up. I've got one in the 6th form now. And the school has been a lovely, welcoming place throughout that time. I joined because various people in the area, including one who was a teacher who taught at many of the schools, said that Wells was the place where she would always want to send her children, and that the children there grew into the sort of adults you'd want to have at a dinner party, which I always thought was a lovely thing. And what I found when we came to the school, having moved down from London, was I initially thought, oh, I'm really lucky. My oldest daughter's in a really lovely year. There's a really nice group of pupils and parents and teachers, and we've been very lucky. And then my next child started, and I thought, oh, we've been really lucky with her year. It's a lovely group of parents and teachers. And then my 3rd child, by the time I got to my 4th child, I realised I wasn't lucky. It was just a really nice school with really nice parents and pupils and teachers, and the luck was nothing to do with it.
I thought you were going to say and made you want to volunteer and do lots of volunteering, and then gradually it got more and more because you've done maths.
Well, there's certainly lots of opportunities to be involved in school life if you want to, but it's very nice to be involved where you can.
Well, I'm very grateful to you. Thank you.
Can't hear you very well. Sorry, Mrs. Barrow.
Mrs. Barrow just said that she was very grateful to you. Thank you.
Ah, it's a pleasure.
I wonder whether we have any more questions. George, I wonder whether you'd like to talk about the senior school transition again a little bit more than.
Yeah, it was.
Would that be all right?
At first, I thought the transition was going to be really hard, but then it ended up being quite easy because there's quite a few groups that you're part of. So you've got your tutor, which you can always talk to, and you're in a house, which is a bigger community. So it's kind of nice because you've got quite a few people to kind of help you through and ease you into it. And eventually you learn the name of all the buildings and where you've got to go to all the lessons. And at first it's quite intimidating because there's so much new stuff compared to the junior school, so many different clubs and everything just gets twice as big. But then, it gets a bit easier.
That's exciting too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite
because you've got lots of opportunities. And one of the nice things, of course, is because you're coming from the junior school, is you're going to have a large group of friends, although lots of new people join as well, so you get to make new friends. You've got friends to help you, and you've also gone through the process that the junior school arranges of having trips to have particular lessons in the senior school and lots of tours. And
it was quite nice because I always had, if I forgot my timetable one day, I always have a friend that will say, "Oh yeah, George, it's this," and I do it to them too. So we can kind of help each other out to get used to the senior school.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Well, I'd like to say a massive thank you to each of our children. So I'd like to say thank you to Lucille for helping us today, and Tilly and Lulu, and George and Francesca and Mum Hannah. And I'd also like to say a massive thank you to my wonderful team of colleagues as well. Sorry, the quality of the internet hasn't been great today, particularly from my end, and I'm not sure why. But all the more reason, as I say, to come and visit us as soon as you can, or to arrange one-to-one chat with any of us. We're all available, probably by Google Meet. So please do get in touch with our admissions team, and then we can organise more time with you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you, Francesca. Lovely hair, Francesca. Thank you, Tilly and Lula. You've been amazing. That was really kind of you. Very helpful.
Thank you.
Good